Hello everyone, I'm Shanglu Huang. Today I'm going to talk about my design project. The name is Smell the Memory and Emotion. As you can see on your right hand side, this is the picture like smelling things. And do you know nose is actually an important part of our sense. You can discover the words. Have you think about to discover the words by the sense of smell, the nose? And today I'm going to show you the project brief firstly, and then we will discuss the design content and the research method I use, and also the design process. And I'm going to show you the making and experiment and the final concept. Okay, let's start from the project brief. Like what I said before, smell plays important role in our daily life, which we may not be aware, because maybe we just see it, and then we never think about we use our sense of smell every day. And do you know human can detect 10,000 odors in our daily life? Can you imagine? It's quite a lot, isn't it? When you smell things, do you know what's the journey of our odor molecules? So let's explain to you. When you smell the flower, firstly, the odor molecules will goes to the olfactory bulb, which is the odorant receptors situated. So also on the next station will be receptor cells can activate and then send the electrical signals to our brain. So the signal are transmitted to high region of the brain. And do you know, so the brain is the amygdala. Yes. So in our amygdala, it can receive two message. One is memory, two is emotion. So it can active our emotion as well. So that's why when you smell things, sometimes you feel happy, you feel relaxed, or you think about your past experience. Okay, smelling is highly personalized experience. In short, each of the matching olfactory receptor gene with our DNA. Everyone have a different feeling when you smell things. It activates a certain combination of this receptor, creating a perception of a specific smell. Also, the gene will affect our sense of smell by different odors. So you can see the right hand side. And even if you smell the things in, like for example, one flower and like lavender, some people will think it's quite relaxed and quite happy, or quite just also quite like herbery. But some people, they might think it's too spicy. So because we have a different gene, so that's why you have a different perception in your mind. Okay. So in our project, my design project, I defined the problem is people are not using so much on the sense of smell, since they are having relied on the visual. So next time, maybe you can try to cover your sign and try to not see before you smell it, and change a way to discover the world. Okay. Also, so in addition, 40 million olfactory receptors we have the 40 million olfactory receptor in our body. It's around only 3 color vision type of receptor, but we have 400 olfactory receptor compared to 3 types of the color vision. So it means it's more sensitive in our nose, but we just never noticed it. So it actually, you can train, maybe you can train your nose, and sometimes you just try to change a different way. And we clarify, we are not lack of the ability to smell well. You just not pay attention to it. Okay. So what we know, if you're not familiar with this sense of smell, you will lose the opportunity to make a strong emotion connection, and also awaken memories. So on your right hand side, you can see that different type of facial emotion on your face. So it actually, like what I said before, because where you have the strong emotion, the smell have a strong emotion connected to the our mind, and also awake the memory. So some people, they might lose the opportunity to remind something by the sense of smell. So the solution would be train the people's sense of smell. So when I just think about, can I train people detect the odors more better, or people can become the super smeller? Will spend the time sniffing odors, therefore improve one's ability to detect them. Can we learn to smell with the sensitivities of those experts, like wine experts and perfumer? Like wine expert, they can know and sniff out the exact location of the particular wine, and some perfumer, they also can distinguish different individual odors in the fragrance made 100 of scents. In this project, I use so many research methods. Firstly, I use the history analyze, and so I read some study from the past, and also the historical praise and some magazines about the sense of smell. And then I do the project mapping to define different dimension of my project. And I'm going to talk about it later. And I also use the smell scope and smell working as my kind of tool to help me to discover the scent. By walking around my surrounding, where is situated in King's Cross. About emotion, I use the Pontic well to help people to more realize the emotion part of the sense of smell, and later I will explain it as well. And also the persona and extreme user scenario, I would explain later as well. But I still have some way and method I want to use, but I haven't done yet. So storyboarding, user's journey, and user group interview. So let's talk about extreme user scenario I use. So this is one of the texts in our process of design. I divided to two different groups. One is extreme user of the power ability of sense of smell, so which is super smeller. And another one is people who lose the sense of smell, so they cannot smell anything. And what will affect them if for these two groups? And firstly, if you lose sense of smell, you lose ability to feel lost, feeling lost, and then you feel like you cannot distinguish different smell absolutely because you cannot smell anything, and you have some emotional problems. Like few weeks ago, I have this kind of feeling because I have a virus. Maybe I catch a cold, anything, but anyway, I lose my sense of smell. I feel like I'm so depressed, and I cannot really, I don't feel any happy, and also feel stressful because I cannot describe the, even if I taste something, I cannot smell it, so I don't enjoy it that much, especially when I was eating. And also I feel social isolated because I cannot talk about topic and describe my feeling to my friend. Another, by contrast, you can see a super smeller. They are very sensitive of the emotion way to experience the world, and they might have the powerful memory and strong feeling of the mood and the emotion, so they can remember everything better because they can remember since when you have the older, um, the older factory will help them. They might have the better like navigation. So sometimes, for example, when you smell things and from um, you pass through the bakery, you might even if you didn't see the bakery, but you know what's the orders from, so you know the direction. And also, it's kind of alert to help you to distinguish what maybe the food is broken or not, it's dangerous. When you smell like small key things, and it might is fire some fire accident appear. Okay. How I go through my process is, firstly, I in the inspiration part, I do some my brief and also my research. I do some methods, and then in ideation part, I do some brainstorming, of course, to define where my project is situated and what's the connection of whole project, my IO ideas, and also come up with the final ideas. In the last part, I haven't done yet, but I will start to production. For example, my diary, the daily diary of order, and also the tour of the sense, tour of the smell. Maybe I will try to invite my friend to use this kind of method, see what's their reflection. In my design contact, I will explain you later. This is like the protection outcome it will come out with later. So things one part of my outcome would be to to set up one of the workshop to train your nose and how to train your nose, I will tell you. Firstly, to close the source, and you try to put your nose right at the older source. Like the first picture, you can see the dog. Why they can smell very, very good and 1,000 times? Because they try to put all the things. For example, this is like flower. You just put it very close to your nose. So the warm up the air will help you to easier to smell it. And then you need to try to the second one, you need to try to sniff more time like this, so you will feel you can smell the olfactory receptor can get better notice of the new smell. So like this is like a Brazil. Like I smell more when I smell more times. And then try to record the odors your experience. You document what you are smell, describe it, try to describe it, and name it, locate their source, and also the associated memory and emotions. The more practice, the more thing you record it and try to describe it, the more you will try to realize what's different kinds of odors, and you can train your nose better. You can distinguish next time. So I'm going to talk about one of my outcome. It's the daily odor diaries and also the small story. And in this part, I try. You have to bring your nose close to the wall, and how it works. So firstly, keep the nose what you can smell it. Try to smell every single item. For example, the bowl, the bed, and the books, the shoes. And when you wake up, you just your toothpaste, you brush your teeth, and describe it. So it's better. And later I will show you what I have done in my daily diary. And the second one, to make it feel like how does it make feel like emotion connection. Like happy, cheerful. On your left hand side is like a facial experience. You can take your picture, or you can just draw on your sketchbook, like diary. Any document mentions like record, and try to describe it very specifically, like cheerful, relaxed, clean, or like this lavender is really mossy, like herbal, fresh, this kind of like adjective. So you can notice, you will notice what's the difference between the scent and sense. Yeah, and what's the immediate the memory and association in your mind. You also can record it by the video, or even you just draw on your diary. So it will help you to share this kind of experience, to make a connection with your friend and your like parents when you discuss this topic, and which is also my one of my outcome. I want to create like connection relationship through the sense of smell. Yeah. And in this part, you can see this is just the first table I have done. To I done so quite a lot, and I also let my friend to record their daily orders by this diary, the table. But later I will show you another drawing and the story. I want to transfer this table like this table looks more bored, so it's too boring. So I will transfer to like more like a picture and graph things. But in this table, you can see it's about situation. I will ask them to record the daytime and weather, how the source from, and also the temperature, because temperature can help. It also can influence your sense of smell. The hot weather, maybe you can smell more different kind of odors. And the wind, why is important? Because the air come from somewhere, like the window. If you open the window at home, now it's quarantine, so you might just at home. So the strong wind maybe can influence you cannot smell very clearly. But maybe if no wind, you can smell more stronger than there's no wind. And also what kind type of the odors. Another part is all about the odors, and how strong is it, where does it come from, and how long it lasts. And the important part also is the name of the odors, and how do you feel it to the odor, and what's the emotion it brings to you. And also you can see this is like this is the memory association. You come out, my friend come out with some. Next part I will going to talk about what I have done. Maybe I will transfer by this way. I will do maybe in the future 2 weeks. I will finish my daily odor diary and also associated story. So here's my diary as well. So, but in your screen you can see it. I record. I just the resources from my room. So I use the lavender as my example. The lavenders come from my room because it's in my vase, and the odor intense is like a 4 star, so it's quite strong smell. It lasts like 5 minutes, and the feeling of these odors is lavender is like floral, herbal, fresh, mossy, sweet, and like light woody. What's the emotion is I use the color to distinguish, like it brings me like trust, acceptable, like calm, and peaceful, this kind of feeling. And what's the memory I think about it is last year I went to the south of France, and the lavender field. I can feel like when I smell this lavender, it reminds me this good memory. So I will use this kind of method to record all my older diaries. And maybe I will take a picture as well and do the video recording. And this is kind of example I show you. Like for example, the heater, and let me think about the warm, dry, and the dryer. My mom wash the clothes. Yes. And also another method I use is Plonchik cycle theory. So this is like they the theory is talk about the emotion, what it divided into 8 different basic emotion, and also can combine with 2 different, for example, joy and trust. It come out with love, and this one it expanded different adjective and different feeling, let my audience or my tester to notice to know more adjective and some emotion in their mind. And another part of my outcome is smelling tool. Now I just to try experiment 2 different tool, and in the next 2 weeks I will try to do more experiment. And the first one is changeable scented mask. So basically it's like a mask, and you can change like lavender or strawberry and different scent inside the mask. Another one is the smell detectors, and it can help you to smell more. I also collect different scents, and you can share with your friends or with your parents. So it's kind of a way to make a connection through the sense of smell as well. And in the end, maybe I will develop the smell mapping model as well. And in the first picture, you can see this is smell source and scope. It shows different range of senses smell and where the sources smell from. And the second one, this one, it shows the different texture and what's the feeling when you smell it. For example, maybe like soft or like very hard or like warm. So you can feel like through this kind of the mapping model. It's kind of way to show different discovery and more help you to realize the sense of smell. So when you have practice more and to train your nose every day, it help you to become a super smeller. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation.